Hi, this is Susana Magenheimer, Random Artist 222. And the other day I posted up on Instagram this photo that you're seeing right now. And I had a lot of comments asking me to go ahead and do a video to show how I created that background. I'm going to work on this, show you how I created that background that you're seeing. Some of the products that I'm going to use, and they can all be variable, by the way, is I'm going to be using Brutus Monroe Chroma Mist in Acorn. And the interesting thing about mists is that sometimes there's multiple colors that comprise the mist, and you don't discover them until you use them on another medium, and then you can see other colors pop out. Like you would never imagine, and I'm going to spray it right here so you can see, that dark of a brown would turn into what you saw in the photo, which was a very soft. I don't even know how to classify that color, to be honest. The other thing you're going to need is a little mini mister of water. And the other thing you're going to need is just a drop of, and I'm using, again, Brutus Monroe Chroma Mist in white. Any of the white mist I'm sure would work, so we use what you have. What I like to do, though, because I never get good sprays, and this one, in all honesty, just splattered out. But I like the product. So I went ahead and took some of this and put it in a mini mister. And what I'll do at the end when I'm done is I'm going to take some washi tape and then just wrap it around both of them and store them like that so that they'll both stand up where I keep my sprays. And that way I don't have to keep searching for the little bottle, and I know it's the chalk mist or the chroma mist, and that I'm all good. The other product I used was, and this is the secret sauce, so to speak, is Seth Apter's Eye Zinc Texture in Crackle. All crackle and texture paste are different. They all work slightly differently. Some absorb color more, some don't absorb color at all. Some turn them into a really pastel-y look because of the talc or the powder that they're using in creating some of these products. I don't know exactly what was used to create this, but I think that's what led to the effect that I'm going to be showing you today. Another little hint about working with texture is crackle texture, is you need to test drive it. Like put it on a sample piece of paper, not your final product that you're going to work on. Look at it, look how it works, look how it dries. Some crackles peel off really easy. So you want to sometimes do a fixative, not necessarily, but maybe like a really light coating of medium. But again, you have to test drive it because some of them will fill the cracks in, and that maybe is not the effect you're going for. So again, always practice with the product you're going to use so that when you do it on your final project, you're not going to go, wow, it didn't do what I thought it was going to do. So let's get started. And this time I picked up some dyes that I had that I just loved. They're, I'll show you on the blue, it might be easier. They're a discontinued dye, unfortunately, I'm sorry. Let Sizzix know. But it's a scroll dye from the Tim Holtz collection, I believe. And it's like I said, it's a beautiful dye, and I think that's what lent to the elegance of the piece that I created. I like these elegant, more sophisticated looks. And as we all know, you can stack dyes like this. You cut them out and then you stack them up, and you can get some depth that way, and to create other looks and textures. But what I did as my happy accident, and I don't know if anyone else has done it out there, but I haven't seen it, so I'm calling it my happy accident that led to the project you saw earlier, was I offset it. So I created its shadow using the dye, just like that. And you can see that close up. Two things happen when you do that. One, you get a beautiful effect just on its own, but you create these recesses and things that the pastes and whatever you're doing get into, and help to create that unique, soft look, ethereal look, I call it. So the first thing you're going to do is basically just glue the two pieces together. What I like to do is take the die cuts, and I glue them, and I don't know if you can see this close up, but you can see there's still stickum on that. I like to glue it on the top die cut and then place the bottom one like this. Whoops. So I would put the tape, whatever you're going to use, glue or a tape runner or whatever. I use tape runner. And then after that, I put the other one so I can look at it on top like that. And it doesn't matter that the glue or the glue stick or whatever you're using is going to be on this offset part, because when you flip it and you're going to tack it onto whatever you're working on, that's not going to matter, right? What you don't want is the glue to be on this inner offset that's facing you. So that's one of the little things I learned while doing this. And so what I'm going to do, let's bring this back. I'm just using an index card, and I'm just showing you the technique in general, so I'm not going to fully go to town on it, but I'm just using a tape runner. The more of the tape runner you put on the back of this, the more it'll take the liquids or whatever sprays you're going to put on it, or paste, and that's the name of the game. But since I'm just showing you here, so then what I do is I put it on here just like that. Make sure it's all nice and glued down like that. Then what I do is I take some of this texture paste, the crackle version, and I take just a little offset spatula, and I just place it, on here. And I really like these little containers that Seth puts his paste in versus the jars. I like that I can squeeze the amount I want in, and I like the fact that it's easier to store. It's just a nice container. So anyway, what I did to create that effect is, you don't want to cover the entire thing in this paste, because what's the point? You're not going to get the different dimensions in color. But what you want to make sure you do is that you get them in these nooks and crannies. And the thicker you put this on, like if I put it on that thick, I'm going to get huge crackles. Although his paste, and this is because of experimenting, his texture crackles tend to be on the small side, but you'd get more definition with a thicker application. So as you can see, I don't want to cover the whole thing up. Oops. So basically it's just playing with it, getting it into nooks, scraping it down. I don't want the whole back either covered up in the paste, because then I don't get the different looks. So basically this is what I'm doing. And again, if I see a nook, I go in there and I put it out like that. Okay? So then I leave that off to the side to dry. It dries really quick, so you probably could come back to that project in at least an hour. Plus, because I did a thin application, that helps too. And then what I end up with is this. And I'll let that come in as a close-up. You can see crackle here has formed. I'll turn it this way a little bit too. And crackles developed there. And there. And like I said, I could get more crackle effect into this if I put it on thicker, but I'm after that color effect. So whatever's in this paste, I'm really digging for getting that effect. So the next step that I do from here, now that this is totally dry, is I just have this little box that came, and it was perfect for this kind of playing around when you can't be in front of a bigger box. I put this, excuse me, on the bottom just so that this isn't going to pick up color. And by the way, on mine, I like to put it on the back of stencil board. Retro Cafe Art has this in her packaging, and I love it. And every time I order from her cutouts, she usually puts one of these to hold them in place. But the back of a cereal box, you know, just the back of some sturdier cardboard, just so that you keep your card from warping, depending on how thick your index card is. Some are very thin, some are very thick. So the last part of this is just playing around and experimenting once again. Okay, so now I'm going to apply the sprays. I have the Chroma Mist in Acorn, the Chroma Mist in White, and the water. And again, this is part of experimenting on what you want to do and how you want to do it. Oops. I'm just taking the lids off these so they're ready to go. So I'm going to start with the Chroma Mist. Nothing special to how I'm applying it. But you can already see how the color is changing up to what I was doing. And then I'm going to add a little bit, oops. I guess even with a mini mister, it's coming out weird. But now I'm going to add the water. And I'm going to go back and add more of the mist. And then it's just a matter of playing around with it. I'm just lopping it around. And basically, oops, I missed a spot here. You see how dark that is? But once I add the white, it gives a little bit of a transition. If you don't want it too white, just knock it off with some water. What you want to make sure is that in your scrolls that you put on there, that you get the darker effect. And then if you feel like something's too dark, you can always come in and dab it off. It just depends on how you want to play with it. And then I like to make sure that I'm getting them in the nooks. And then once I get them in the nook, these little nooks and on there, I'm going to put this aside to dry. Okay, so then I'm happy with that. I'm going to put that aside to dry. And what I end up with is this. I finished the project. I added some shadowing to it. I added some dimension with some acrylic paint. I took another Sizzix die of Tim's, the butterfly, and I put that in the middle. And you can see this, what we turned out here is what's happening, is what happened here. Once it dries up all pretty. And no, it's like a butterfly. Well, it's like a snowflake. No two are going to be exactly the same, but you're always going to get this little bit of pinkishness that came out of adding the white to this acorn and the colors that this acorn is made out of as well. And so that's how I created this effect. I hope you liked it. Please remember to subscribe and like. Thanks for watching and have a great day.